Hey, we're on time, more or less. Right. Hello, everybody. You can see me. I can't see anyone. And welcome. Take us in, Arnie. Everyone has a chance to log in and say hello. How can I see myself? Oh, I'll press that button. Something not quite right here. Hey, no, there it is. We are there. Right, this is requested, this song, so I need to give this one a go. Wow, we've got a huge lag. This can be confusing. Right, everyone, welcome back to Bits in History. As it says on the shirt. La 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 la. You got the camera on? Excellent. Oof. Good finish. Hello, everybody. Right, we're going to be doing messages from the past. So I need to see the comments on. Can you log me in?
Also, a quick reminder: we are preparing.
Yes.
Come on, Eileen.
Come on, Eileen. Arnie is working on it, so thank you for that request.
We're trying to make it really good.
If you're very unlucky, I might have to get my guitar out and join in and sing. Come on, Eileen, and all that kind of stuff, because I still had no request for me to sing again after my previous attempt, which I thought was fantastic, but there you go. Right, I can't see any comments, I can't see anybody. What's going on? Oh no, camera's frozen as well now.
Oh, ready?
Oh, God, we're just getting started and everything's going wrong. All right, don't panic yet. Don't panic yet, Ross. Don't panic yet. Panic. Hang on. Great, all I need. Yep, okay, all right. Right, if you can try and get that on screen, Arnie, I think right, okay, so, yeah, I know it sounds a bit vague, the secrets from the past. It will make sense, because what I'm going to do is show, I've got some fantastic examples of where the past has been changed dramatically before our eyes. Well, sort of before our eyes, as you'll see. An example from David Mosley and Robert Pierce, and some other examples. And then what I'm going to show, now, this, because we were going to launch Britain's Hidden Christianity book this week. Two things have happened. Well, three things, really, I suppose you could say. One is the book's got a different title with a bit more oomph in it. So I'll talk about that in a minute. And it tells a bit more about it. And one of the reasons why the title has been changed is because reading through the book again and again, I shared a couple of the chapters with two very good researchers, them being Bob Morgan and Stephen Pohl, and we suddenly worked out there was a bit more to it than we'd first realised, and that Mr. Wilson, Mr. Blackett maybe lead us a few more clues, and we have to decide whether to answer them or not. But what it does mean, there's another site visit we have to do to get the last photos in to make it complete. And the third thing, as I know some of you know, I have been a little bit poorly this week, I'm afraid. As you can see, I'm okay now. But I did have a few days in hospital, in Krankenhaus. So that wasn't very good. And it's meant I haven't had much time this week to do all the things I'd like to have done. But still, luckily, for the first time ever, I've been doing the show on... I had the show more or less ready Monday or Tuesday. There was so much good stuff happened. Last Tuesday, one of the best days ever in the Britain Hidden History project. We had... I had Bob Morgan ring me early in the morning to say he'd made the breakthrough, having read some of the notes on the book. And we had David's thing came through, Rob's things came through. Oh, what else happened? It was like this day of like revelations. Everything was flying along. And I kept copying them all onto the presentation so I wouldn't forget them. And then sure enough, that's all I got to do this week, really. So there you go. So thanks for everyone. I know I didn't tell too many people, but the news gets round to a few people. And thank you for your concern. Right, so hello everyone. Just say hello to a few people. Way logging in. Alan Griffiths, Paul Coles. Oh, Andrew Whelan. Hello, Andrew. Yes, I saw you not long before. I had to go into hospital. There you go. And Dean as well. Meg. Hello, Dean. There's Dean. Hello, everyone. A rare Friday, Sunday night off. Good to see you, Dean Morgan. And thank you for showing me around on Wednesday. And Gary Taylor. Yes, still to come down, bringing the sword. Wow, Jordan. Wow, it's a good turnout tonight. Finky Stingers is there. Well, I need to read some of these. Arnie has a stream on your account the other day. Was brilliant. Yes, for all those Saturday morning who got to watch Arnie playing his Formula 1 racing game, which he's very good at. It's
Pardon?
yeah, you were streaming on Saturday morning, Arnie, when you were
Oh yeah,
playing.
accidentally streamed F1.
Accidentally streamed M1, yeah. Freezing gear, no loss, you're back on. Hello, evening, Arnie. Claps to Arnie, well done.
I
Evening
hope I
all,
was
evening all.
winning in that
Hi,
stream.
everyone. You're good on that game, Arnie. You know, I'm gonna have to stop giving you chances soon. That's how good he's got. Right, so let's, without further ado, one thing I'm going to start with, a little bit different. So this is slightly out of order.
Daddy,
Yes.
you know the stream thing? You know about the I stream?
Yes?
It was mostly me.
Oh, it's mostly Leon. Yeah, the first hour, I think, was Arnie, and then it was, what was it, Leon? What was on your stream?
I was doing Tower Heroes.
Some crazy game.
Oh,
They don't play much video games, but on the weekend, you know, life's different, all right? So what I'm going to do here, I've got... Oh, hang on. Let me just line this up. First of all, I've got a poem from Lee Pennington, who was a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago. He has worked with Alan Wilson way back in the 90s. He's got some great films. One I really want to show and at least put some clips up during our events, which is going to come soon. And also, as I mentioned, Lee is a poet and songwriter and a musician. And he posted a poem just last week, which was just so perfect for what I wanted to talk about, that I am going to share it. So hang on a second. Hopefully you can see that, and hopefully you can hear it nice and loud. Let's just make sure all the volumes are on. Hope it'll blast anyone wearing earphones. Hang on a second.
The reading today comes from my good friend Jim Engel. We both are graduates of McHale High School. Jim wanted me to read a poem for his friend Art Seelhorst, who a couple of weeks ago just had his 100th birthday. The poem I've selected to read for him is one called Old Barn, and it appeared in my book Appalachian New Ground. Art, this poem is dedicated to you. Old Barn. An old barn fighting the wind is aplenty. Rusty nails now bare as late November fields with nearly weed stubble growth. The racket is enough to frighten birds, old boards banging. Where are those men these ghosts now mock? Where are the mules or empty stalls? Now the hayloft falls into a home for rats and owls. Rotting eaves with the roof blowing back and wasps sprinkled like raisins across the undersides. A musty leather smell and rattling chains of empty harnesses. Broken single trees left for rain beside plow points noisily banging. An old barn fighting the wind is aplenty.
There we go. So it's going to pop this up on the screen there so you can see the words. I should do all this off thing. I'm a bit slack this week. There we go. So the point of this poem, thank you very much, Lee. Beautifully read.
Reading today comes
Hang on,
from
we're
my
having it
good
again.
friend
Hang on. We're
Jim
having it again.
Engel. We both
Yeah,
Because
okay.
it's the
That's
only
it.
religion
What's happened here?
that
What's
acts
come
like
on?
the
Oh, it's also
mafia.
played on- That's trouble with Facebook.
Ben Affleck clashes with Bill Maher.
No, never mind. Don't worry about that one. It's just autoplay on... I don't know what that's about. Right. So the point of this is, right, an old barn fighting the wind is aplenty. And if you look through the poem, it's a brilliant poem because what it says is we've got all these clues here. All we've got now is like these nails and, you know, a door banging, things like that, rats and owls living in this barn. What has happened to all the people that once must have been there? Where are all the mules? You know, where are all the activity and the noise? We have to somehow... This is all we got, you know. We have to take this and not see it as it is now, but we really have to try and use our imagination and our knowledge and our judgment to find out, to think what it was like then. It's a bit like when you see an old person, you always think they've always been old. You forget they were a baby once, or a little boy once, or a little girl once. or a great sportsman or whatever like that, and you see him dodging around. Okay, so it's a bit. So I jump slightly ahead and go back 2 slides. So first of all, thank you very much, Dave Hooper, who gave me the Brutes of England book, which I read from last week, which surprisingly, someone else has pointed out to me, they tried to get that book, Brutes of England, and surprisingly, even though it's a book of Anglo-Saxon history, very, very difficult to get hold of in Britain. And again, Gyan Books to the rescue. Thank goodness for Gyan Books. Gyan Books. Okay? And another one, thank you for Robert Langdon. We've done a bit of a trade, and I've done rather well out of this, because I have traded him, thank you for his interest, a copy of Cymroglyphics. Plug the book. How to read hieroglyphs using the Welsh language. And in return, I have got a complete trilogy. A complete epic trilogy. So I'm just going to show this quickly. It comes with a box set, nicely done. And this is about prehistoric Britain, okay, as he calls it. So the website you can see there, prehistoricbritain.co.uk. And each book is very cool. Because what you get is, it's like a ring binder style where it's been put together. And it's a DVD, or an audio book, sorry, with a nice graphics. And this style is very much like a sort of project style, which I rather like. So I'm enjoying that. So that's something to add to my list of reading. And I'll let you know I get on with it. And please have a look at the website and you'll see some of the videos I've done with Robert. Right, there's the poem. We just had that. Now, here we go. Straight in. Right, another one for the Christmas bloopers. History is happening right now and in Wales, centre of it. For example, CV is identifier for a Swansea number plate. Yeah, how did they get CV, I wonder? Bizarre, isn't it? Anyway, so right, okay, so we're going to look at this one. This is a Robert Pierce by bizarrely Lego and David Mosley, 2 friends I've made through the Britain's Hidden History group. So I'd like to encourage everybody, get to know people yourselves within the group, okay? I understand that I'm very much in the middle, and I try and share information as much as possible, like a sort of reporter, if you like, in the centre, like a hub. But what we really want is little cells everywhere. Make friends, find people interested in your same subjects. Like at the moment, Marchell is working closely with Ashley, and they're working on translating the Colburn names in the Colburn Bible, looking for the Welsh sources or British sources, working out what the name means. I mean, that's fantastic. They're way beyond what I was doing, or what I know about that subject, which is very little. Saying we've got people like Hugh Evans going off and writing a book about star maps, and hoping to speak to him soon. Make your own, and he's made friends and contacts, and he deals with people. And Lego here, he's been with Rob Shaw part of this week. I was hoping to join him, but unfortunately things got in the way. And they're working together on a book. This is the way it's got to work, It can't just be sort of relying on one person. I mean, this week, I was out of action. What's going to happen? The whole thing comes to a halt? No, we can't have that happen, all right? Much bigger than all of us. So here we go. Here's an example, which by coincidence, we had a lot on Baden lately, and I am going to do an online chat with David, and we might open it up and do try a 4-way online chat on Zoom. So it'd be David, we got Robert Pierce, and then we got John Pitcher, who's also a local and knows the area really well. And has got more. Question.
What is the name of that prehistoric history book?
Oh, sorry, I do apologise, yes. If you go to the prehistorichistory.co.uk website, so I should have said a bit more about it, shouldn't I? So we've got 3, really. We've got I'll just say a little bit about the book before we push on. So we got the post-glacial hypothesis, which is looking at the overall situation. I haven't read the books in detail yet. I've got an idea, okay? So please don't, go too close in what I say. So what we have... Oh, there's also a DVD documentary hiding in the back. Right, so we got one then, which is the overall picture. I'm not sure which order they are, but the post-glacial hypothesis is going through the idea that the water levels were much, much higher going back a few thousand years than they are now. So Britain would have more or less been a series of islands, if you like. The rivers would have been so big, the land between them would have appeared like islands. It would have been a very wet, almost like a sort of Amazonian rainforest type climate. Not necessarily the heat, but the amount of water and swamps and trees. So a lot of Robert's work is focused around the main way of travelling being by water. It's much easier to drag a boat. So he calls them canals, but I mean, they might only be a couple of inches deep. It's a bit like calling the Amazon River a canal. And all the little tributaries. It's not canal like the big things we see with the locks and all that. It's about water travel. You can carry heavy loads. It's safer. How you might get lost a river is much easier. So all that kind of stuff. So that's the general hypothesis. The dawn of the lost civilization, I'm not too sure what that's about, but I guess that all ties in with it. And I think in there is things like the first lighthouses are made of wood, and the navigation systems they use, and all. I mean, it's a vast amount of work. And then the Stonehenge enigma, which I don't think we agree on much on Stonehenge, but there are parts of it. That's not quite fair. I shouldn't have put it like that. I would see Stonehenge more as an ongoing project. And reading the work of Wilson and Blackett and the British records, they say that Stonehenge was built when Hugh Gaddern came, so you're looking at about 1450 BC is what they say. And it was still being worked on 450 AD. And I've just been putting some together, doing some preliminary work for a forthcoming book on the comet. And one of Wilson and Blackett's theories, which is very, very interesting, is the reason, and he wrote this 20 years ago, right, before anything on the BBC about Stonehenge being moved and all that. What he's looking at is the idea of comets and catastrophes hitting Britain and the need to build an observatory. And they're observing for particular things because they knew about these threats that were coming and how catastrophic they could have been. So it's really interesting. And all that goes back to the work of Hawley. Most people call him Halley, like Halley's Comet. And it's a fabulous essay again about how a lot of Hawley's work, if you're not aware of him, he was like a polymath. He's a great astronomer, mathematician, travelled the world working out astrology. Amazing guy. He's the one who actually financed a lot of Newton's work. So Newton gets all the glory and no one really remembers Hawley apart from his comet, which gets called Halley. So there you go. So, and then a lot of stuff which I had a real surprise, okay? A lot of this was new to me, but the ideas weren't new to me because they're very much the ideas that Velikovsky was so famous for in the 20th century. And it seems that Velikovsky got a lot of his ideas from Hawley, who was writing in the 17th century. So that's another interesting. I mean, as you know, Wilson and Blackett, you daren't open a folder or look at something because there's this whole world, like a whole book's worth of information, just sort of chucked into a chapter or something, or on the back of something, But anyway, so that's going to be great. Okay. So what we're going to look at here, the famous Battle of Baden. Oh yeah, by the way, at the end of this program, what I was going to do is going to show a chapter from the book, the Britain's Hidden Christianity book. Okay. Just, I think people have been waiting a long time. I did promise to have something out this week. The book is done. I say it's done. The whole body text is done. But we found this new information which we can't ignore. And for the sake of a little bit longer, we need to go and check out a certain site, take photographs. We can do a proper survey with theodolites and all that kind of stuff, which is, as we say, very secret, but it's exciting stuff. And I think when you find out more about it, you realise, yeah, it was worth doing that. And if it would just stop raining, I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but it's rained and rained and rained and rained. And the forecast is to carry on raining and raining and raining. So we're hoping for a clear day. Right, okay. Now, the Battle of Baden. Just to fill people in. I haven't welcomed anybody aboard. Sorry, my brain's not with it at the moment. But if you're new to this, one of the what we do is look at the parts of Britain's history which has sort of been hidden, not forgotten necessarily, but hidden, deliberately hidden. This is where history's being changed so we can't see it. Now, this has always gone on. Every country in the world, every civilization in the world. So don't be surprised or shocked that it happens in Britain as well. There's always been changes. You go right back to Edward I and II. They were trying to suppress British history and steal it. But the big change that we're talking about really came about 1700, just after when the Hanoverians came onto the throne and they pushed this Germanic history onto Britain. They're very worried about civil unrest and being a very unpopular monarchy. So the English were made to think they're all Anglo-Saxons, where most of them are Britons. And the Scots, Irish and Welsh were labelled as primitive Celtics who'd wandered over from Europe. So the whole thing about the migrations and the kings and the great history just got dumped onto the myth pile. And of course the biggest, most famous victim of all this was King Arthur II of Glamorgan and Gwent, who became the sort of fictitious, legendary, whatever, King Arthur. But saying all that, even in the history books, what you'll see is that he's still there. He's just there in all the books. Like that Brutes of England, the history of Anglo-Saxon history, he's in there. He gets a bigger mention than anybody, about his coronation and things like that. Well, one of his most famous battles is the Battle of Baden. the Latin version, you see it sometimes as Mons Badonicus and things like this. But here it is there, and the funny thing was, I love it. I've been looking at some old Wilson or Blackett videos, and hopefully I'm going to be able to digitally restore them and get the rights and put them up and all that kind of thing. But there's that great quote I'm sure everybody's seen, where it's like, and someone, I think it was Margaret, suggested I make a T-shirt. I think I will make a T-shirt of this one. When it said, "How are we going to find the Battle of Baden?" and then I think Barham said, "Let's get a map," because if you're not aware of it, for I don't know, apparently for 100 years or so. Oh God, the camera's gone off again. At least I noticed. Why does it do this? Why do you do this? I can't understand that, and the camera just froze for reasons I do not know. Hang on.
Again.
Yep, hang on. Don't panic, everybody. Stay with me. Why does it do that? Right, okay. Come on. Stay cool, Ross. No, doesn't want to work this time. Good grief. Alright, stay calm. I have to avoid stress. I'm just going to stay cool and chill. Alright?
Make that noise when they give you...
Yeah, that's what I find stressful. Yeah, there we go. Alright, sorry about that. Stay calm. I have to stay calm. The new chilled Ross, okay? Like there was ever a different one. Right, anyway, so this famous Battle of Baden, alright? No one could find it, and there's all sorts of weird stuff, okay? Sorry, the picture will come back. There's all kinds of weird stuff, like there's people that put it near Bath, because Baden sounds a bit like Bath, and people just look for coincidences in names and ideas all over the place. But the battle is exactly where the Welsh records say it is. If you go through, this is where it gets really annoying. Stay calm. You see, it describes it. You come the Owenny River, up through the entrance, and where they walked, and all the place names around there, the field of battle, the march with the soldiers, all this kind of stuff. Right, now what is interesting here, that Lego, good old Robert, has shown, you can see my little mouse hopefully, this is a map, 1880s I believe it is, Ordnance Surveys, an official map.
Well, if it sounds the same as Bath, can't it also sound like Bahrain?
It could sound like anywhere, couldn't it? You could put it anywhere. Very good. So here's a map for the 1880s, and as you can see, nice big circles there, make it very easy. There's Baden, alright, on the map, nice and big. Baden as in Money of the Baden, which just means Mountain of the Baden. And there's Gare, which is the other one we know, Money of the Gare, right? That's where St. Peter's is and all that kind of stuff. Very clear on the map. So as Robert says, 19th century map that clearly shows Baden, site the famous battle, on the spot that can't be found. So we're going to have another Talking Out Their R's soon, hopefully this week, where we talk about some of the old books and stuff we found, and old maps. So look out for that. Alright, and what he also found though, which was news to me, look at all this! All this was, my goodness, this is back on Monday. I can't remember the book or the organisation, it might come up on the next slide hopefully. But what we got here is Mice Cadlawd, so Mice is the place, or like the field or something like that. And then you got Cadlawd is the battle, Cad is the battle, so place of the battle, alright? So it's like the enclosure of the place of the battle. So this is where the battle itself was, within that larger area of Baden, okay? Now look at this, going back then, I think this is 1990s, I'm guessing a bit. Hopefully we get some information on the next slide. This is how much interest, I think a lot of this spun off Wilson and Blackett's work. This was becoming news again, right? It's a bit like that old barn that Lee talked about earlier. It was just a field, rusty. But people went up there, they dug ditches, they did excavations. It was getting some proper coverage. And sadly, once again, it's disappeared again, all right? So I put this map up there with a link. You right on?
Yeah, I'm trying to sit
No,
down.
just distracted me a bit. That's right. It's okay.
Chair's just...
Yeah, the chair keeps moving. Yeah, I'm not here moving the chair. No, it's... Anyway, so there's the link on there. I haven't copied it onto the description yet, but I will do. Where you can find the map for yourself and have a look, all right? You can zoom in and have a look. And in this crazy world we live in, you have to go to... hang on, was it the Library of Wales? No. Museum of Wales? No. British Museum? Oh, no, that's right. University of Scotland. And I think last time I looked for these a couple of years ago, you could find something similar in, I think it's the University of Sydney, somewhere in Australia. You can get maps of Wales. But last known, they're not available for the Welsh ones, right? So, sorry so much text. This is from David. There's pictures mostly. I was copying his message because I thought he put it so well I couldn't improve on it. So, a little example of local history disappearing. Here is a location near Mynydd Baden, which is also spelt sometimes Baden, Baden, Uabon. I'm going to go into the roots of it another time. And then Mons Badonis is like the Latin version. Mons being hill or mountain and Badonis being Baden. Curiously, the word order is the same as Welsh. Having its historical identity and usage changed over a relatively short period of time, not much more than a century. The cartography agency is the same for all 3 sheets. So David sent 3 maps, all right? All Ordnance Survey, all official government maps. This will shock you, all right? So we got the first examples from a 1910 print of an 1888 survey. So that's the same map, I think, as the one Rob did, although it looks slightly different. And I won't read the rest because you'll see it as we go through, okay? So here's the first one. This is an 1888 map, printed, I believe, 1910. And what he's done on this, it's near, there's Maes Cad Lawr. I think he's zoomed in, so you kind of see the Baden part, but that's not really the point of what he sent here. Maes Cad Lawr, place of the battle. Look at this, underlined in red. There is it's called British Fortified Residence, okay? And you'll also notice it says, to the right of the underlined words, where's my mouse disappeared? Standing Stone, site of, okay? I'm going to cross here to mark a point. And I also think these are showing more and more of the battlements. Because people, I didn't realise until I started reading Wilson and Blackett and thinking about it, that when you fought old battles, you dug a ditch and made a self-defensive position. You didn't just stand there saying, let's have a fair fight. You took every advantage you could get. So that's the 1888, okay? And then we're going to look, same Ordnance Survey. This one is the 1940s issue map. So the British Fortified Residence, same spot, right? Same map references, has become a camp. And the standing stones, the cross I showed you, is gone. And now it's just a generally vague kind of, there's some sort of standing stones in this area. Maes Cad Lawr is still there, the quarries are still there. The word British has disappeared. The word fortified disappeared. And it's been replaced just with camp. And then let's go up to modern day, or nearer to modern. This is the current map. And I'll tell you now, you won't find, there is one thing with Baden still written on it, and I think it's like, it's not even was it a farm or something? And if you drive up there, you won't find a sign to Mynydd Baden or Baden or anything like that, but there is a place nearby, which is called something, not Baden Farm, but something like, it might actually be Baden Farm, but something like that. It's like an oblique reference to it, and Baden's the second word. So if you look for Baden in a map directory, you won't see Baden. You'll see whatever it was, then Baden. So this is the current issue. The camp has become a farmstead. The location of the standing stones has been completely omitted. Standing stones no longer on the map. It's just a farmstead. So there you go. This is an example where just because you can't see it doesn't mean to say it was never there. But like the people in that barn, you can't see the work and the mules and the activity. All you see is an old clanging door and some rusty nails and rats and owls. But yet, you have to remember it was not always like that. And some of these things we're talking about cover a couple of thousands of years. Like, some of the sites we're visiting could be as much as 500 BC or even earlier. So when you're looking for traces, you have to bear this in mind. One of the things I think Wilson and Blackett do really well is getting to the mindset of those people of those eras. Yeah, so David said, yeah, National Library of Scotland. Thank you. In a second. The conversation going on. Okay. Yeah, it is disgraceful. Yeah, I agree, Caroline. Yeah. Coy Church is very near to this. Yes, it is. All sort of Bridgend area. Well, sort of Bridgend, my stick. All right, so there you go. Oh, yeah, it is in here. So Rhys Jones. Oh, yeah, I want to show you this, right? Just to give an idea. I know not everybody's on Facebook. I know Facebook has its problems. And being monitored and all that kind of stuff. And I'll say a few words about that. First of all, I think if you're on the internet at all, if you've got a computer at all, if you've got a phone at all, you're being monitored, all right? It's not me being paranoid or conspiratorial. That happens anyway, okay? Unless you're going to go, anyone watching this or doing anything with electronics, you're going to be followed, or I don't like to sound too sinister, it's just the way it is. And Because I know a lot of people say, I'm not going to put my details on Facebook. Well, don't put any details on Facebook. Just set up an account, set up a false name, whatever you like, and just engage on this. You haven't got to be one of those people who puts their meals up and their pictures of their family and their cats and all that. You don't have to do that, okay? And I know it's got a reputation, a bit wild sometimes. Well, it's very friendly in our group, okay? So, and I want to give you an example of research in action, because this is what we need more and more and more of. It's not about me, it's about getting the research done and getting the projects done. And I'm happy to help and put people together and help publish a book, whatever it takes. So here's a good example. Rhys Jones, who I don't know too well. So he said the original name, I was talking about Mynydd Baden, okay? Baedon. Has been passed down through the centuries in Welsh. I believe it's Bodaethon. First time I'd heard this, so thank you very much, Rhys. And the lake is Llwchaethon, like Llwch in Amlwch, meaning loch. So Amlwch, I wasn't sure if that was a word for loch. And he posted this on the Facebook group, okay? There is a quartz standing stone with a footstone, possibly Aethon's wife Ellen's grave. This gets interesting then. So I've replied on the group thing. Ross, that's me. Good work. I got the old dictionaries out and you're right about the words. Llwch is an inlet of water or a lake. Am is to circumscribe or around, such as being around a campfire. So Amlwch could well be something like you describe. Any ideas on this bod Aethon you found? Also any extra sources that you might have. Always good if you're doing research, where do you find it, all right? We all get our information from somewhere. No one just knows stuff. Well, like Sharon Wilson maybe, but even he has to give references sometimes, okay? So then we had Mayor. Hello, Mayor. I hope you're watching. Mayor Cynnell. What a great Welsh name. Cynnell. I'm not quite sure. It's Cynnell, I would think. So she's just chipped in with, hey guys, bod in this context means abode, if this helps at all. So Aethon's abode, the abode of Aethon. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mayor. Good to have you on board. And David Mosey's come back on. Thanks, Rhys. I was hoping for some earlier names, because there's a lot of stuff going on in discussion. The original text, a broiddwad rabonwi, and it appears to be wadon. Alright, so people are doing research, getting original documents out, getting the old books, whether you order them from Gian or whatever. It's brilliant. This is, if all you ever do is watch this once a week, you have no idea how the work is exploding and how much is coming out soon. Alright, it's just poof, like this. I can't keep up. So I need more people making videos and doing things as well, okay? Especially as I have to slow down a little bit. Ugh. Right, so Rhys Jones. David Mosley. Thanks, David. I've been giving these stories word and mouth. After a long time searching, he's found Ellen's grave. So I'll definitely have a look. Now, I don't know if he's found it for the first time ever, or he's worked it out from the clues or whatever, but there we go. Well done, Rhys Jones. Diolch yn fawr. We'll have some closer pictures next time, maybe a little bit less shaky. That doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. So I'm hopefully going to have a chat with Rhys, get him on for a Zoom call, and tell him how he found it, where it is, all that kind of stuff. This is what it's all about, all right? So I've got Mike Harris. Thank you, Mike. I have met Mike, almost a year ago now, when he's picking up some books. And this is really good. Someone else finds something, a book I would never look at probably, okay? So this is from The History of Hartlepool. Oh, don't touch anything else. By Sir Cuthbert Sharp. It doesn't sound like your average taffy, as I put it. So it's written in 1816. So again, I'm going to show this thing about history being hidden, all right? So whilst it doesn't bring anything new to the table, it's yet another example of the common acceptance of the day that Christianity started here in Britain. People are doing... There's like research going on right now in the comments, so I'll leave them to it. All right, so it's a long track. I'm sorry, bear with me a little bit, because we do have the book coming out, Britain's Hidden Christianity, or with a new title, which I might say at the end. Yeah, why not? It's got to go on sale, isn't it? It's as well, so it is. It's a bit more hard-hitting, the new title. Just a bit. Right, anyway, so just want to, if we jump to the second paragraph, Christianity was first introduced into Britain during the lives of the apostles. Say, we're talking about people who were alive at the same time as Jesus, it's first century. Previous to which this island, blah, blah, blah. Right, it's been asserted that the apostles of St. Peter and St. Paul diffused the light of the gospel in Britain, and you get all sorts of different variations and stories. But what I want to do is go down to... Sorry if you can see my mouse, I hope you can. I can't highlight it because it'll jump. So, however, about the year of Christ 176, Lucius, a British king, was publicly baptized and professed the Christian religion. That when Britain became the first Christian country in the world, okay? hundreds of years before the Romans and all that nonsense. He is even stated to have founded churches in each of the 28 cities then existing in Britain. We've got 28 cities here. This is not Roman. What's going on? Towards the conclusion of the reign of the Emperor Diocletian, so this is interesting now, right? Because the progress of Christianity was such that the institution itself became an object of his violent persecution. So you've got the Romans under Diocletian, there's persecutions going on. Anyway, then we got Constantine and the rest and all that, okay? So thank you very much for that, Mike. It's excellent. And as you're saying in there, it's the point is it's a book. This isn't... See, one of the criticisms you get is that all this history was made up around about the 1800s by a bunch of nutty Welsh nationalists. They invented the writing system, they invented Colburn, they made up the ideas of the migrations, they made up the Troy connections, they invented Christianity starting here. I know it sounds ridiculous. If you think... you think people get called conspiracy theorists these days. The mainstream conspiracy theory is amazing. Because some of these people went all around and they must have carved stones and written ancient books and done all sorts. It's an amazingly bizarre conspiracy in the history of the world. So if anyone calls you a conspiracy theorist, you want to say, well, let's see what this conspiracy, the mainstream one, is. So what else we got on here? Yeah, David says, the usual excuse for removing names on maps is lack of space. You can't use that on my catalog. No, there's nothing up there. It's just a hill, isn't it? I mean, nothing to remove. Especially as one thing they removed is just a cross. Yes, well, Mark, as Ross says, India Bookshop has sold more Welsh British books, old British books than national libraries. I think that says it all. Yeah, what's going on? Why is it we can only buy these books via India? And please, buy them soon, because I'm sure I'll get cut off at some point. Oh, hang on a second. Thank you, Alan Rees. Britain Ferry is Llan Sawel, which is the parish of Sawel, Paul. Local legend that St. Paul landed there. I wouldn't be at all surprised, quite possible. I mean, the legend, I would definitely say, but there we go. Oh, also, Ivion Vern Williams, regular contributor. Polydor Virgil also confirmed that Britain was the first seat of Christianity. Oh, I'm sorry I missed that one, Ivion. I'm in a big catch-up. He posted a link about that one. But anyway, a bit more about, from the book, the same one. The virtue and piety of British ladies, as it appears, the conversion of King Lucius may in a great measure be ascribed to his illustrious aunt, Claudia Rufina. Now, if, this looks like it's really well planned, doesn't it? Because we're going neatly linking into the Britain's in Christianity book. I wish I could say that was true. Well, actually, it was kind of true, but it was last Monday I did all this. Anyway, so Claudia Rufina, she is the aunt here of Lucius. She would be the daughter of Heddwch, Latinized to Caractacus, like the old Rolf Harris song. So we got Claudia Rufina, who she was one of the first ever Christians, a famous one. I think she was the martyr as well. And you can find in Rome there's still a I think that's the one who became Pudens, because she married a Roman by that name and took his name, as married people still do. And you'll find these people in 2 Timothy in your Bible, right at the very end, where he writes the salutations, and it's like Linus and Pudens and these people who are all Welsh royal family, and this is well known, okay? So Christianity, the seeds of Christianity, listen to this, was sown in the infant mind of Constantine by his religious mother, Saint Helen, who was unquestionably a native of this island, born at Colchester. All right? I'm not just pushing Welsh stuff. Helen was Empress Helen, the mother of Constantine, who in the 350s went trotting off and carved out this big empire, and he introduced, first we had the Council of Nicaea, and before that, the Council of Arles in 314, and then you had this situation where it became a created religion, and this is why we get deep water now, but the Roman version was different to the original one, because he had an empire to hold together, and he pulled people from all corners of the empire, this great big council, and thrashed out what's going to be our common book. This isn't part of the Britain's in history, like that's other things. But anyways, but the point here is that Helen, who we talk about, Helen of the Cross, you see my video on it, and this story of the British being the early Christians, all these things here were widely accepted. And this is 1816. This is even later. So it's really the last 100 years this has disappeared and been hidden. I mean, it's actively been hidden, as we saw with the maps. I don't see how that could just be accident, all right? So, Mike Harris, this is, I think you mentioned that already. another example of common acceptance. This used to be our accepted history. It's so weird and bizarre how it's just become myth and legend so quickly. Power of TV, radio, I don't know. Take your pick. Sorry, I was trying to catch up on that. Right. Oh, I put the picture up. Sorry, this is going to be a bit awkward now, because what I normally do is copy and paste a picture on there. I'm not able to do that. I just want to... I'm going to have to interrupt things a second, because the only way I can do this now is to actually copy and paste... Copy and paste that into my browser. Get rid of this before it auto-plays this stupid interview again. Excellent. All right. And this is one which, another example of just the madness we're up against here. You got the Galloway Hoard, a hugely important moment hailed as Viking treasures unlocked for nation. Why are they Viking? You just found them. They're in Scotland. Who's to say they're bloody Viking? Anyway, I go through the items there. There's nothing particularly Viking about any of them. If you look closely, it becomes Viking Age treasure. Why is it Viking? I can understand Viking Age. It gives you a kind of a window. But why is it not mention anything British on here? Oh, which reminds me of something I got to show you as well. Several months, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is some of the things. And there's some of the items. And this is all the sort of metals, Britain, rich in metals. So I was discussing with some people on another group, sort of mainstream archaeology group, if you like, saying, well, what's to suggest this is not British? Nothing, really. One argument was fantastic. And I said, well, there's some things in I'm pretty sure are British. You could tell from like the gold. I mean, there's not much gold sources. The main one being North Wales. And the amount of silver as well. Silver's a byproduct of lead mining. So, and the designs on some of them. There you go. And the idea was, well, it could be... what it's saying is if you take a lot of treasure... So this logic, I can... whichever way I try and... It's hard to do it with a straight face. So what the idea is, even if it was British, it's been stolen by Vikings and they've buried it. So why if you're a raiding party, why would you bury it in Scotland? If you're from Scandinavia, you take it home, then bury it, surely. Because the other thing is, if you look at where Galloway is in southwest Scotland, it's a British area. It's loads of people went through there. The Scots coming over from Ireland, that's one of the ways they invaded. So it could have been part of that invasion. Could have been the local people burying their stuff in front of the Gaels or the Scots. I don't know why it's Viking. And no one else does. But hey, look at this. It is hoped that the research can date the items and identify their places of origin, thought to range from Ireland to the Byzantine Empire. So who do we know has got a link with the Byzantine Empire? Oh yeah, the last bloke, Constantine, wasn't it? He's come from Britain. Mother's born in Colchester. He's gone across and created his empire, and then he set up a new capital in Constantinople, or the Byzantine Empire, or Istanbul, whichever one, same place. And he's got very strong British links, him having been born in Britain. It's the same empire. And all that ties in. And Ireland, why are we writing Ireland out of this? I'm trying to get them all in today. We got Wales, England, this was Scotland, skipping on to Ireland. All these things it could be. Why is it Viking? Bizarre. Our major aim will be to understand how and why people assembled and collected hoards during the Viking Age, you see. See, that makes sense. If you are being raided by Vikings around the coast, I'm not saying there were no Vikings, and if you were being raided, you might well hide all your stuff in a hole in the ground before these nasty people with big beards and much stronger and bigger than could fight everybody came and took your stuff. So that makes sense. But that doesn't make you Viking. Why is Scotland not saying Great Scottish Find or British Find or Gaelic Find or Irish Find, anything? Why is Britain, there's one for discussion, I'd love to hear more comments. Why has Britain got an obsession with saying everything's foreign? Everything early is Roman, anything this era is Scandinavian or, Anglo-Saxon, which is kind of not so foreign, I guess. Or Norman, the Normans built all the castles. It's bizarre. Most other countries are trying to claim stuff they didn't necessarily do. Whereas we're taking things we have done and saying, no. I watched another little video, which I'm going to speak to Mr. Pennington and say, please can I share bits of this? Because because it was another great video showing that wonderful scene where Alan Wilson is at Caerleon. And if you haven't seen it, it makes me laugh, because what they're doing, they're talking about the style of the stones in Caerleon by the amphitheatre there. It's always assumed to be Roman. But of course, the style of the stones is herringbone stone, as you can see on the video, where so the stones all being like this, quite a few are like that. And it's you say, oh, it's very common to the Roman Empire. No, only common to the Roman Empire in Wales and Western England. You don't see it anywhere else. You don't see it in Italy or Germany or wherever, Syria, wherever the Romans are claiming to be. But that's Roman. And Alan says this wonderful thing there. He says, here I am. He says, I'm sitting here. He says, I'm a Welshman. He says, I get this stone. I put the stone there. And I put another stone on top of it, and I just made a Roman wall. It's great. I can't do it as funny as Alan. He does it that really sort of yeah, like the world just ended and landed on his head kind of look on his face. Right. See, we've got another one here. Hang on, this is priceless, right? Sorry, not the item. Hilarious. So this is the same hoard, right? Galloway hoard, doing more research on this. The one thing that supposedly, I do apologise because I think someone posted this for me. I didn't find all these things. I'm not trying to claim glory. It was Monday and everything's changed since then. Right, so there's an arm ring, and they found, right? Listen, look at this, right? This says Egbert, okay? Or Egbert, right? They're going to try and make this say Egbert. But what's weird, okay, is, well, for one, maybe it's not on this part, but on some of the other stuff, you can see Christian-type crosses, where they're supposed to be pagan. Vikings will also be famously illiterate. Still not convinced about their runes. I would like to have a closer look at this, because it does look remarkably like Colburn. I think it can be read. Well, how they get away with this? Here I see a gold ring, an enamelled Christian cross, and a bird-shaped gold pin. So everything about it screams Christian and British. The writing style, the faith, everything, okay? Where it's found. What's another thing Alan Wilson saw him say the other day on an old video was, in the notes I'm doing for another book of his, was, if you find a boat in Chinese, it's Chinese. If you find a boat in Scandinavia, it's a Scandinavian boat. If you find a boat in Germany, it's considered to be a German boat. You find a boat in Wales, it's not Welsh. I'll extend that to the whole of Britain. He is funny. Right, okay, so here's the bits and pieces. Oh, hang on, there's a bit of the text I want to read. So it shows you how crazy it is, right? So what they've done... Oh, no, I can't find the bit about the text. But I do remember reading this because it fascinated me. Because, as you know, I'm into translating and working out... based on the other article. But the point of the article was... You can look it up yourself. I'll try and add the links below when I get a chance. The point of the article was that most of it they can't read, right? Well, if you can't read it, you either read it or you can't read it. That's why I look at writing. It's like with the hieroglyphics. You can either read it, it either works or it doesn't work. So you can't look at the whole thing, and you can't read any of it. Well, 90% they've got no idea what it means. But this little bit here, somehow we can wangle that to say Egbert, which must be Egbert. How did they get away with that? It just seems the opposite of rigor. The opposite of rigor, you know. Right, now I'm going to get something on screen for you here. Oh, we've got loads of emails. This is the one I want to show. Come on. I'm very casually here, just putting this show together as I go. As you know, it used to be so organised. It never was. I know it never was. Right, so you're going to enjoy this. It's going to be a sneak preview now of one of the chapters from the book. How do I make this go full screen, please? I want to go to full screen. View, hang on a second. Come on, page display. Come on. I just want the whole page. Why can't I do the whole page? Blast. Alright, I'm going to have to go as it is, I think. If anyone knows why this isn't full screen, let me know. Okay. So a little sneak preview because it's so relevant to this week's theme, okay? We've got a theme. We've got a theme this week. I need some feedback from people if it's small or big enough to people to read. Wow. There's so much going on in the chat here and all good questions. I don't know the answers to any of them. That's one here. I'll do a little bit. There's a Danish museum I visited. Oh, David, who lives in, David I always call him, lives in Denmark, Jutland. Germany, technically, I think. I visited a Danish museum last year, and they had a finely crafted and very intricate gold brooch labelled as being stolen from Britain in the 8th, 9th century. Wow. So they got more British items there. I am going to keep you on, tease you a little bit longer, because I'm going to try and find one article. Should I save it for next week? Hang on, because I was on a discussion with some people, very friendly people. Thank you very much. I hope they come in to watch as well. Some of the people I met on Megalithomania presentation. Hang on. 10 greatest British finds in the British Museum. Actually, you can watch me type this. Why not? Let's see what comes up. Okay. Here we go. That is there. I found it. Brilliant. Because I was saying, do you realise there's nothing British in the British Museum? The word Britain, the last time you see the word British is on the name tags after you cross the door, okay? I was being a little bit facetious and funny. And so it's hang on, there's top 10 finds. Have a look at this. So I was like, all right, okay. Now, I've just done a YouTube, this is live, and I've just done a search, and I haven't got the link that was posted in my discussion, okay? I hope this doesn't disappear behind my head. I wish I could make it go to the right a bit. Oh, I can, can't I? Hang on. I'll do that, and I'll drag this. And we can come over to the side. It doesn't disappear behind me. Right, okay. So, top 10 finds, and the great thing was, I went through the top 10 finds. Right, the Ringomere Cup. Yeah, it is the same list, I think. So let's look at these top 10 British finds. See if you can find what's missing from the descriptions and stuff, okay? So this one is, I guess this is the one that's really, really old. So this is 1700 to 1500 BC. So it's just very old, all right? So we'll scratch that one, all right? Just bear that one in mind. So this second great British find is Roman. These are Roman grots. All right. By the way, I'm not sure they are Roman, but anyway, they've gone with Roman. I think they're probably British by the volume of them, where they were found, where they were mined, where they were made, where they were used. Kind of gets a bit British in my book. But there you go. Next one, Domitianus, the Doubtful Emperor. So I'm not sure they got that right. Anyway, who am I to argue? But the point is, this is Roman. All right, this is Roman from a French horde. Right. And then we got number 4. This is 2nd century. And again, I think this is described as Roman. Souvenir from Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, Roman. Right, this is the British Museum top 10 British finds, right? Staffordshire Hoard. Okay, which is an amazing hoard. And I want to do a video on this because it's a lot of similarities with Sutton Hoo. And if you haven't watched the series, you see Bob Morgan done some great work. I did some help on showing there's nothing really at all Anglo-Saxon about Sutton Hoo. Nothing to show this in British, all right? So let's look at this one. And this one gets this early Anglo-Saxon period. Maybe it's British. Because they haven't actually said it's Anglo-Saxon, you notice? In the same way the other ones, they say it's Anglo-Saxon period. They can't physically put the word British on there. Just can't do it. It says British on the signs. It says British on my name tag. You don't need to see the word British again, okay? Anyway, number 6, Alfred the Great. Vikings, blah, blah, blah. Mercians, silver jewellery. Alfred the Great, King of Mercia. Anyway, I think this is all a bit strange as well. But anyway, so Mercians, if you follow Wilson and Blackett's work, they're actually Vandals, all right? So, but anyway, no, yeah, he's Wessex. I was going to say, what have they done here? Yeah, anyway, Alfred, I don't think he was an Anglo-Saxon. I think he was a Guisian, but that's another story. Okay, so we're on to number 7 now. Hey, now we're on to year of the Norman Conquest. So now we've got Anglo-Saxon to Norman rule. Again, no mention of the British, no possibility of it being British. And I've got my coins book out. I'm going to have, I said, an unfortunate action this week. I was going to look at all 10 of these, and show that all 10 could be British, okay? And then we got the Anglo-Saxons. From the Anglo-Saxons to Afghanistan. So we got this York Horde. This is Viking wealth craftsmanship. Because the British are too useless, right? We got Andrew Wheeler in our group. That wasn't you, was it, Andrew? You got Andrew Wheeler in our group. Andrew, did you find this? Are you stinking rich because all the millions you made off this Viking horde? Well done. All right, so the extending origin from the Anglo-Saxon England to Afghanistan. So we've got a Middle East link there, haven't we? Who do we know who's got a migration story coming from the Middle East? Is it the Vikings? No. Anglo-Saxons? No. Jutes, Frisians, Normans. Oh, the British, that's right. The British brought stuff from the Middle East. Maybe it's them. What do they know about the British? Oh, it's the British Museum. All right, so we got then Thomas Becket. So we get a little bit more recent now. 14th, 15th century, going to medieval. Again, the word British doesn't appear, though. And then Richard III's Bosworth Boar, okay? Famously fought against Henry VII, Battle of Bosworth, 1480s. This, by the way, in heraldry, this is the white boar, which was represent the white dragon fighting the red dragon of Henry VII. I think you probably knew that already. So it's supposed likely to be lost, a member of the king's personal household, and of course it's not British. So there you go. So when I said to someone who's a big fan of the British Museum, and I like the British Museum, and they said they guide tours there, they know curators, they know all this kind of stuff. What do you mean there's no British stuff? Yes, well, find it.
Well, why are all those Great British fans not Great British?
Why? Good question, Arnie. If you didn't hear that, people, that is the question. Dave. Why are these British finds not labelled as British? David Hoops. Yeah, where's the mould cape? Oh yeah, because I haven't got it with me now. I'd forgotten about that because last week in a charity shop, for a few pounds, I got the British Library's amazing hardback massive thing, which is the history of the world in 100 objects, which is serialised on Radio 4. Mole cape triggered my memory, so thanks for seeing that. And I'm going through there as well. And fair play, the word British does appear a couple of times. It's a big book, mind. It's a pretty. What else we got here? It's supposed to be a marked difference in Old Biblical Cymraeg in the first Welsh dictionary, 1588, compared to the revised second version. See, Johnny Enigma, if you can find details of those two dictionaries, I'd love to see them, because the earliest I've got is the Salisbury one, which is a lot in it, and that's 1500 and something, and then it's a 1688 dictionary. So there we go. This kind of stuff we're up against, all right? So if anyone can explain that to me, I haven't got a clue anymore why people do this. And if anyone knows the right button to press, I daren't press F10 or F11. You might shut the whole thing down. Yeah, don't risk it, Ross. Don't risk it. I'm going to say something now, a little insight into one of the chapters. God, I'm racing it through. It's 9 o'clock. I thought it said 39. Right, Anna Wilson in pugnacious form. Please, if you're English, don't be offended. This is not personal to anyone. It's just explaining how the history has worked, okay? You could call it... Anyway, I'll read as it is. I'll read a little bit. I'll scroll through. So if you're very clever, you can go back later when it goes up and pause and read the whole chapter if you want. It's very, very interesting, okay? So one thing that can always be guaranteed down the long centuries is that no aristocratic or upper-class Englishman would condescend to learn to speak, to read, or to write, the ancient 4,000-year-old Cymric language. These lords of the earth and blah, 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 okay? Now, the point of this, and the reason it ties in today, is this here, which says, how did the Cymry hide their records? Don't forget, it was illegal by pain of death to have writing equipment. Printing was illegal. No, you could not write anything down. You could not record it. When the Welsh kings, and when I say Welsh, these are British, the old British royal family, when they were captured and taken to the Tower of London, they'd take their libraries with them. Those libraries got burnt and destroyed. So some, what do I call them, Welsh aristocracy, kept books and libraries in their houses dotted around the country, which is where Iolo Morgannwg came in. Old Edward would walk miles and miles and miles and miles and miles to say, have you got any old books, please? And then copy them. That's what he did, right? This forger, this tyrant and all that. But the other way in which the Welsh hid their records, I think you're aware of Colburn, the special writing, this sort of, people call it runes sometimes, it looks a bit right, yeah, it's Welsh, all right? Anyway, so what we're going to do then, one of the things they did, mentions here, they wrote things down as fairy tales and put them in a book called the Mabinogi, which they hid as a children's book, the Mabinogion, still around today. I've read the stories to my children, and you're like, well, weird, what's these stories? They're just so weird. The stories don't make any sense. Well, they don't. They're astrological stories, they're history, they describe events, and you need to know how to interpret them. That's not what we're talking about here, okay? What we're talking about here, another clever thing they did, and I go slowly through this, is the king lists. Secrets in the king lists. So what you do, I've got to show you a little taster of this, because it's so amazingly clever. I think this is just mind-blowing. I know everyone's going to be trying to read this now, not listen to me, but never mind, it's okay. The point of the King's List was, they've been attacked by historians as being a load of rubbish, okay? Because first of all, they can't find some of the names, the lists don't match up, there's no dates on them, it's just a load of rubbish, and they're not really interested anyway, it's just old lists of names. And you hear the sort of slurs such as, it's just people trying to prove they've got famous ancestors. I've had loads of abuse just of mentioning them on history groups, and that's a lot of Welsh English, doesn't matter, right? This is not that's generally how they are dealt with, okay? So Wilson and Blackett, being clever, took it a step further, all right? What they did, they've taken these lists, and, oh, excuse the highlight is still there. That's me to remember to do something. They've taken these lists, and I'm not re-spoiling the book here, because you've got to read it anyway. And there's so much in the book anyway. And they, instead of just, they've done the same thing. They've checked through the records, right, to check on who these people are, and they don't match. There's this King's List, a lot of them from the Harleian manuscripts, which are held in Bodleian Library mostly, which are like old manuscripts in British history. It is there, under lock and key, but it is there. 3859. And so why is it this King List from this person doesn't match that one? Why is it this one and this one and this one and this one are all different? This is weird. The first few names are the same, and the last few names are the same. In the middle's a mess. And then penny dropped or clicked or whatever happened in the geniuses they are. And they said, well, perhaps they're not names. Perhaps they're not names. And what it comes down to then is you can... sorry, you don't need to read all that just now. You can read if you want to. About triads and things like this. Jove around the myth here. Right, so here we go. This is what I want to get to. So what you would do is you would put a few famous names at the beginning that everyone would recognise and know, and a few famous names at the end, because they would be in recent history and in people's minds, so people would know the really early ones because they're famous, they know the end ones because they're famous, and no one bothers checking lists of kings, as is proven, because these have been freely available, sort of freely available, for hundreds of years, and no one's noticed, apart from Wilson and Blackett. Now what you do, so I take them as names. As you can see on the left-hand column, there's the list of kings. On the right-hand column, that's what the words mean, if you'd read them in as Welsh. So in this case, we can translate to this paragraph here. So a great tumult, the pure one, the man of sadness and grief, who was abandoned to our sorrow, he was stretched out, crucified, sanctified wholly in the manner of ungodliness of the deep whirlpool, might be hell. The man who brought gifts, the amiable man, elegant, fair, of the birth yonder, upward to heaven, or this could be James, a reference to his brother, to beautified clear, pledged to protect with baptism, he who is the monarch, the lord of restoration, the legate. And they've done loads of lists. This is like a bonus part in the book, if you like.
What was it, the legate?
The legate, yeah, it's...
The legit?
No, it's a sort of military rank, really.
Oh.
Hang on, what's happening in yours there?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I must have been asked that.
And then you got their family trees and how this all fits together. And then we got another family tree.
Because he was the legit guy.
Oh, the legit.
Cool.
Yeah.
He was pretty legit.
Legate and legit are similar words. Mariah would like that one. So anyway, you've got more lists, and then how you read them, how you translate them. They refer to the crucifixion and Jesus and not dying and what happened to him. And there's some comments there about who the family is and that kind of stuff. So it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing, okay? And that's just one part of the... And what I wanted to say then, just to finish the programme, not run on so long today, before I get worn out, is that this little thing here, because one of the things, there are a couple of things, it's same as with the Songs of the Graves, which I think you're already aware of. It's covered again in the book from a different angle. Originally, when it was translated, you had a situation whereby 190 odd names were said. It was long, 190 odd names in a list. And then 1950s, another academic came along and said, hang on a second, there's only 120 odd names, and the other words are descriptions. And then we're down to about 50 odd names with details about the people. And it's a similar thing here. But a lot of this has been known. Why has it been done? A lot of this mistranslation and not correcting is deliberate. This is the weird thing about it. So one of the ones we got here is I've jumped around a bit. This listen, no little pig, oh happy pig, is because this is another translation they've done, And this goes on to Myrddin Wilt. And I'll just go forward to it. Is what the real... Listen to this. You see, this is a translation we get here. The official translation. You can look it up yourself. For I am Merlin, little horse, and men shall call me Taliesin, high intellect. That's where it reads. Sorry, that's not the official one. That's Wilson Blackett. As opposed to, listen, no little pig, oh happy little pig. So sorry, I got myself confused then. So here's the phrase, and this is the proper translation. Listen to the supreme, secret, holy estate and show respect. Extreme renewed intelligence concealed. So this is all about the secret messages. So a person who does not suspect or know does not look. And so that reader misses the message. Once it is realised that there is a message, then the pursuit of sights can begin. And that's when we start to get onto the more lists. And you can go through all that. And the secret messages and things like the songs of the graves. And then that's when you start to piece together where all these things are. Where all the great sights are. And the name... I should put the new front cover up, shouldn't I? Anyway, the name of the new front cover is Where Jesus is Buried. That's when I get the cover up. I'm talking to you. Show the new cover. It's a bit more in your face. Come on, be on here. I haven't had a chance to catch up with this. Come on. Please be there. Yes. Yes. So, sorry, it's just on my graphics software, but just gives you an idea. Hopefully that comes up. So it's a bit more in your face. Britain's Hidden Christianity was nice and it tied in with our group and the research and all that. But it's not going to... I was never quite happy with it. It's not going to really rip it off the shelf, does it? Oh, thank you, Johnny Enigma. If you could email me that as well, I'll put it on Facebook. It's hard for me to get all the comments off here while I'm talking. David Church, the people from a certain city in Italy, like the Roman roads they found in Britain, copied them and named their city after them, and it became called Rome. They like the roaming British roads. I like it. So there you go. Where Jesus is Buried, the story that has been suppressed for almost 2,000 years. How the Holy Family came to Wales after the crucifixion, and Britain became the world's first Christian country. So I hope people like that. Things are a bit more punch. I wasn't quite happy. I did ask for suggestions. So please feel free to give feedback. You know, I'd rather hear it now if it's something you don't like or you don't think it's suitable or anything like that. Bit late after they're printed, all right? So if you got something to say, say it, okay? I don't mind. You cannot understand how much I like to get feedback, good or bad, all right? As long as it's polite and constructive. It's not personal. This is an idea, it's a suggestion. Oh, Wilson and Blackett's name's faded. Sorry, that's just a graphic error. Why has he done that? That should be in bright white, Wilson and Blackett. I don't know why it's done that. It's just the way it's opened for some reason. So Wilson and Blackett, a bit bigger, a bit whiter. And there's going to be some images here, faded into the cover. And then some blurb on the back cover, all right?
I like that cover. Especially the colour.
You like the colour as well? Good.
The emerald.
Good, because I just realised...
Really cool.
And the other thing, decision I made, just to let you know, is that it's all about content on these things. Taken way too long on this book, but this one is really, really important, and I didn't want to let Alan and Baron down with this one. It's really, really important. I wouldn't like to let them down on anything, but it needs references. It needed. Hopefully, I'm sending this over to Patricia for proper indexing. We're adding loads of appendixes. Site visits, details. It needs to be a heavy, solid book. It's coming in at the moment. The body text, just so you know, is 276 pages. It's about 76,000 words. And then there's going to be appendices added to it. So bear with me on that one. But, different approach, because I've got loads of other shorter books, which I've got more or less ready to go, and I was going to go and do the same thing. Add all the references, all the indexes, all that. But it's going to take too long, and I think people just want to get them in their hand and read them. And what I'd like to do is produce first editions. This is my suggestion, idea, hopefully feedback. I am going to produce first editions more or less straight out the tin. I will correct some spelling and stuff and grammar and lay it out to make it nice and remove duplications. But apart from that, you're going to be reading pretty much the notes straight as they are out of the tin, all right? Because there's some brilliant subjects covered. And that'll be a first edition. Boom. I'll probably put an index. That's probably about it. Just leave like that. And they'll be quite small, all right? They'll be collector's pieces. Because what I want to do is do a limited run of those And I'm relying on people like yourself. You're not exempt, because I've got no history qualifications or anything, all right? Don't worry about that. It's attitude and prepared to do it is what we need. So I need help to get these books out. There's a load of books. And reminders like this week, and Lee's poem, and watching things disappearing on maps, and looking at old clues. We've got to move, right? Time marches on. Got to get this done. So I want to get those out as first editions, limited runs, couple of hundred of each only. And I want feedback from people and help to say, well, I found this reference or this thing or this picture, whatever it is. And then the second edition will be the glammed up version with all the bells and whistles. So let me know what you think of that as a plan. I think that's the best way to get the work out there, because there are mountains of it. The one thing I had, because I was sitting in hospital for 3 days, being poked and prodded, and full of bruises, and it was, this is, no, I'm not going to say my joke. Am I going to say my joke? No, it's not appropriate. Anyway, so, anyway, I do want to thank Royal Glamorgan Hospital. They were absolutely fantastic, and I did want to thank them in person, from the ambulance driver, Richie, the one who sat in the back, all the way through to, not all the way through, but then the triage. There was Fran who met me, who was wonderful, and Tanya took the first blood out and did a great job of that. Then I went up into the first triage ward, and I was looked after by Jamie and Mike, the nurses there were wonderful. And I had Dr. John Hewish, who was great, and then Mark Reynolds, who looked very young to me, but he was fantastic. Registrar, explained everything that was going on, what was happening. And then up to the wards, where Joanne looked after me wonderfully. And there was Indian nurse there, Shaima, fantastic, thank you very much. And going through all the people who looked after me, it was wonderful. Dr. John Hewish in the end, who sorted everything out. And then I had Joanne, who was on one of the scanners, and everything. I was amazed. It was absolutely... It was like I felt like a sort of international footballer got injured, you know? Every scan you could think of, every test. Amazing. So I am fine, all right? All those people worrying, I am fine. A little bit tired. I am fine. And I just take it a little bit easier for a while, okay? So there's nothing to worry about, but it was a reminder that we need to crack on and do these things. And perfection, or the love of perfection, can be the enemy of good. So these books come out not with months of rigorous research like this book has, okay? So we'll get this one up this week. The slight delay, the twist. God, I've kept everyone waiting, and that's really... I'm going to keep a little bit longer, because I want to say something about the other stories. Because I did drop a little hint about pyramids, and someone posted a question on the comments, which I didn't answer. Will you offer them in digital format? See, this is... someone else has asked me about this. I first published a book and got TV publicity, nothing sold, because people want to be able to get the info now. See, the problem with digital, the worry is that the only income for us and for Alan Wilson and Tony Blackett is the book sales. And also, some people are kind enough to contribute to Patreon. And by the way, I've got a special thing for Patreon coming out, which I shall show. So thank you very much to those people, because that's all we go on. And digital, I'm always afraid it's just going to be, just copied and go out for free, and then that's it. I don't know how you do these things. But I'm open to the idea, and I think it might be a way forward, I agree. And people hopefully will still want the printed one. A box set would be great. Yeah, well, that's the idea of running them in the colour scheme, so they'll all fit in. Now, the little hint I dropped about the pyramids, I did have chance, because I was in hospital for 3 days, to read it all the way through. And fantastic. And it's not so much about are they energy centres or the weird and wonderful technology to build these things, or nothing like that. It's the practicalities of why they were there, why they were built, how you can see earlier versions, how they learnt the skills, and most importantly, who built them, and why they built them. And the bit which I think is going to get people very excited is why there are no mummies, and those gold-covered mummies in the pyramids, and why they've never been found. They have not been robbed out. They've not been incredibly tidy tomb robbers who go in and clean up after themselves and take every last scrap. Where they are buried. That's a genius. I feel very spoilt, like I know something you don't. But if it wasn't for the COVID thing, I was to jump on an airplane to Egypt, find the treasure. It could be worth millions. But there you go. So that's one. And then we got all about another one then about the myth of Roman Britain, really. More about how it was during that period and who was in charge, and building on some of the work done earlier. And then another great book is all about why religions are formed, why religions are the format they are, how they became, how you can explain it all. The mind on these people is just absolutely amazing. It's just amazing. There's nothing else you can say about it, really. Absolutely amazing. There's stuff, like a lot of stuff in the Where Jesus is Buried book. I would say 80% of the references in that are in the Bible. Do you think how many millions and millions of people have read the Bible, read the same words, and not seen what they saw? And once you've seen it, you're like, oh yeah, there it is. And the same with all these history and stuff. Yeah, all right, okay. We're in a bit of discussion. Good, okay. Sorry, I've got a massive lag, so I'm going to read in your comments a good minute after you've probably posted them. So sorry about that. More people are reading on digital. There's a higher markup on digital on Amazon. I see Amazon. I don't want to go. They get the rights to the books. You've got to be really careful there. And if they delist and they've got the rights, you can't print your own book again. I'm very worried about Amazon. I wouldn't trust them. Sorry. We have enough trouble with the physical books. Oh, just so you know, by the way, if you want to buy a physical book, if you go to the website, it is cheaper on the website. Not because we make more money. It's exactly the same. But all the charges and everything and all the hassle we get from Amazon and eBay. It's, it's a pain. Yes, thanks for the good get well messages. Thank you very much. The pyramids of bomb shelters, all right. I can assure you that's not in the book, but, I'm not writing it off as a possibility. I'm sure they would double for that purpose. Right, okay, so that's kind of it, really. If people want to, I'll leave the conversation open. Oh, it's almost 20 past. The thing with digital, also it's interesting with the digital thing, because I was reading that physical book sales are higher now than they've ever been the last few years. Not just with the lockdown, they're just generally up. People are buying and reading more books. I don't know, I had a Kindle years ago and I never liked it. I didn't like reading off screen. Even now, if I'm doing work, I tend to print things off. Stick them in a folder and then read them that way, rather than just read on screen. It's quite tiring on the eyes and everything. At some point you have to edit and stuff. But I'd never read. Oh yeah, if I didn't write it on. Yeah, I'd never read a book on a phone or something. I know a lot of people do.
No, I don't like it because I think.
Oh, come on, Arnie, as a young person.
I think reading small letters off of a screen just gives me a bit headaches.
Yes. Well, it's nice to have a book, isn't it?
Especially on a small phone screen with small letters.
And you can scribble it and stuff, can't you?
Scribbling in books.
I know. I used to think scribbling in books was a dreadful crime. And all my books are pristine. You can see my books from when I was a child still looking absolutely beautiful. And then Alan Wilson convinced me differently then. I'm very low tonight, aren't I? I should be sitting on a pillow or something. You can't see my... You're supposed to be seeing this advert all night. Hang on, let's put that down slightly. Too late now. We're an hour and a half into the programme. But, because I went to see some... Oh, by the way, I will try and put some more video up next week of Alan. Some recent ones or an old one. It'll be stuff I hopefully haven't seen before. I just didn't have a chance this week to organise things for obvious reasons. So, I went up to see Alan Wilson. It was a couple of years ago now. And he had his old... he's going through his old books. There's a video on you can see. Oh! There's one thing I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask a favour of someone. This is a big challenge, all right? But anyway, let me tell this little story first. And I'll write that scribble down there. Make a note so I don't forget to come back to it. Is that his books are all falling apart, right? And he said there's two reasons why people buy books, he said. There's one lot of people who buy books to stick them on the shelves and look nice and look like they got impressive books. And there's people who buy them as a working tool. And he buys them as a working tool. And I was like, yeah, I can see what you mean. Obviously, I wouldn't do it to a 200-year-old original book or something. And I certainly wouldn't scribble on original notes from Alan, which to me are like first editions of a Mozart music piece.
The Mona Lisa first edition.
Yes, go and scribble and paint it, would you? But
no, but that's how valuable it is to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, it's good comments. I'll come back to that in a second. Yes, so I've since then, I'd rather get these old reprints from people like Gian and that, and then, right, and it's very helpful, Because now I flick through my books, I can see the headers. So I'm looking for a certain king or something. I've usually scribbled it on the top of the page. In fact, I'm going to do next week, because it was a request during the week, can I do a guide to reading the books of Wilson and Blackett? And I'm going to do that next week. Hang on. Make a note. Go with a little summary of their books, but also if new people are getting involved in research first time, they're not historians. I'm not a historian, but you can, there's processes you can make things a lot easier for yourself. Right, okay, so a couple of comments there. People don't generally like you can make print bigger, you can change colour of pages, that's true with digital, yes.
Still though, it's just...
Most people like to have a physical copy. If Amazon was a human being, you'd put it in jail. Llewellyn, thank you, Llewellyn, yeah. Yeah, what can you do, eh? What can you do? Oh, wow, I love some of the pyramid ideas, they're great. Harry Lonsdale, resonators using hydrogen to split. Yeah, see, I've seen some of that. I don't mean to laugh or mock. I don't mean that at all, because it's amazing, some of the ideas. And I've actually been down the bottom of the pyramid on my own. That was a weird experience. Another story for another day. Right, oh yeah, the right down. I almost forgot then. I've got one request to make, and I'm going to try and find this video so I can show you what you mean. I will do it now. The one thing I don't really have, Alan's getting old now. It's getting more and more difficult to get him to apply himself to stuff, and I'm going to go up for a while because of the blasted COVID. I am hoping to go up in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully he's alright and all that kind of thing. But what I'm going to do is, if you look... Oh well, why am I hiding this? I'll show you. So if you go to, on this channel, you're on it. You're on the channel. There's the video. That's what's on live. That's us now, okay? There's a list here of Alan Wilson talks, okay? Which is getting quite good views. There are almost 6,000. Now, I think it's this one. I should have checked beforehand. I'm pretty sure it's that one. Hang on, why do I see the full playlist?
They are getting good views.
Yep. Because I wanted to put a note on there, because what I don't want... Yeah, it must be that one, I think.
Wait, it was a year ago? Drug taking a gypsy style?
Yeah, I've shown you that, haven't I? The old ceremony on the Narma palette.
That, but it was a year.
A year ago, yeah. Where's the time go? 2 years ago, this one is. I think it's this one. So you can play that yourself, all right? You don't need me to play it now. But what I'm going to try and do is...
2018.
He makes it very clear in here how this is not... This book, that's 2 years. I can't be 2 years you've been planning this book. 3 years. Pull your finger out, Ross. Get it done. Oh, I didn't have all the notes then. Sorry, I haven't been working on it that long. Phew. But we were talking about it. Alan and I were talking about getting the book done that far ago. The point I was trying to make is this book is not meant to be seen as an attack on Christianity in any way, all right? It's showing in many ways how Christianity should be and how it's moved away. And it's become obsessed with miracles and the story, as Alan says, the singer rather than the song. And I really want to make that clear in the book. And I thought the best way to do that would be to do at least part of this interview as a transcript, as a sort of prologue or introduction. So as part of this video, if you watch this great video, I'm pretty sure it's this one, where he talks about, what I just said really, how it's not you can see what I normally watch. They are boxing and chess. That's what it does me. It's a weird combination, isn't it? I can tell you what my injury is. Oh no, that doesn't matter. I lost a fight to a punch bag, all right? Anyway, so if you go to, if I get a volunteer, or a few volunteers, I think we'll make it easier, and we could split the video up into, say, 6-minute chunks or 8-minute chunks, to actually type down and transcribe what he says. And that could be like an introduction to show no harm is intended, and how he talks about how he lives in a vicarage, right, next door to a church, and so you couldn't get near his house on a Sunday in the old days because there'd be so many people going to the church. The cars be all over the pavements, and now I think it's closed or empty, or hardly anybody goes there. And it's the same all around here. The only reason my local chapel's still going is because so many chapels nearby have closed and the refugees have ended up there. So, it's not working. The Christian church is doing it at the moment. And Alan's view is, if he concentrated more on the song, the Christian message, and stopped going on so much about these stories about Jesus and the miracles and flying up into heaven and all this kind of stuff, you might do better with that. And this would be a message that people in the modern era would be more happy to accept. So that's controversial, deep water. Look out, incoming. But so I'd like to, I think a chunk from this would be better than me writing an introduction, or trying to get Alan to sit down and say, come on, Alan, write an introduction, because it's those things are getting more and more difficult. All right, so I'm getting the hurry up now. It's bedtime for everyone. School night. I'm going to read a few more. David Church. Very good name, Church, by the way, isn't it? Very apt. Let's have a look. And a second. Oh my goodness, comments going so fast. The singer rather than the song. That appears to be exactly the message in the Revelations of John 2. How he managed to get his book in as last word in the Bible, the Roman Church, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Pyramids can sharpen blunt razors. Yeah, I think pyramids can do loads of amazing things. And none of those things are excluded by what it says in Alan's book, by the way. None of those things. He's just showing one. Yeah, actually, all those things. All those things could apply to what Alan says on this. They're used. I'll say that much. All right, I don't want to give everything away, obviously, but the pyramids did have a purpose, and he wasn't burying people. Okay, I'll say that much. Truth bombs are going to be dropped about many religions. Thank you, Suzanne. Yes, if anyone wants to volunteer as well, please do some transcribing. It's I used to do that. It's a little headset. I used to work in market research, but that's a long time ago. Right, okay. So thank you everyone. We're up to 9:30, so hope you enjoyed that. It was this side is kind of a bit more organised than I thought it might be. A bit more ramshackle, kept going. And do you know what? A couple of people said to me, "Oh, don't do the show this week. You should be resting." I love doing this. This is one of the highlights of my week, and I love the comments. And we've got to keep things going. And the fact this every week means it happens. Because if you don't do things now, before you know it, 3 or 4 weeks has gone by. So at least this makes a marker every week. What have we done this week? So, yes.
The first time you paused an Alan Wilson video and he doesn't look stupid. Just when you randomly pause it and it just looks...
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I was going to play a bit, but as the pose is so good, I just left him stationary because it's a nice picture, isn't it? Yeah, he's lovely. Oh, it's quite sad, man. He was so much better just 3 years ago than he is now. Oh, we've got to get up there. We've got to cheer him up. Anyway, all right. Arnie, what are you going to play us out with? We had a few... Oh, by the way, Arnie, as Arnie mentioned earlier, thank you for the Come On Eileen reminder. We are working on that, as we said. It's a bit of a tricky song, actually. It's quite technically difficult.
So, in the meantime, Mummy said I should play the Game of Thrones theme.
Game of Thrones theme. So, there you go. I don't know why. We don't even watch TV here, but there you go. So, thank you, everyone. Remember to like and share. We've got to spread the word, okay? And if you do want to volunteer to help, great. And give my feedback on my ideas for just getting the books out in fairly rough form. Take the pressure off me a bit, and you'll have the information quicker, and then we can jazz them up later, yeah? So don't be too harsh if some of the books are, like, you know, cut mistakes, heaven forbid. Alan doesn't make many anyway, so it'll be alright. It's quite funny, the comments. David Church, subtitles can make you laugh out loud in the middle of a serious work meeting. Yeah, no star all, yes. Keep safe, Heddwch. Play for your life, Arnie, says Zoe. Yeah, we're going to get Zoe on, and Beth Ann. I haven't forgotten, I just haven't been around, right? We are going to get some music on. Llewellyn Pren, yes, that's Jules. We are going up St. Kenneth Mountain. Oh, that's it. Oh, it's a sudden end, is it? That's so much I know, doesn't it? Right, okay, everybody. Oh, hang on. I got to try to do this thing now, haven't I? I got to do this thing, and I got to try and get it right. I will leave the comments open for a bit longer, okay? Because I can see there's loads of chat going on. Yeah, use the chats to share emails, all that kind of stuff. Go on, yes.
My email if you want.
Want? Oh, thanks. Oh, is it a capital W? Oh, yeah. I think it's caps.
Some capital at the end.
I remember I used to have someone I used to send emails back and forth. Rebecca, if you're out there, Rebecca Farah, good friend of mine. And I noticed all her emails were always in lowercase. And I said once, how come on, I said, wait, we never have used capital letters. And he said, I don't shift for anyone. So that's for you, Rev. There you go. So right, so no star, Pobe. And I will be some videos up in the week. But it will be a little slower than it was, perhaps. And I am going to focus more and more in on Wilson and Blackett. Because it's stretched too thin.
Focus of this channel.
Yes, they should be. Yes, we do too many other things. I don't have time to do everything. So, although I am always interested to interview other people, Robin Heath hopefully coming on soon. Maybe Nick Holstrom. That'll be a bit different. And he's got to know him through the Megalithomania. So things like that, I'm very interested to hear other people's ideas. And if you want to do something and come on for a Zoom chat, brilliant. What I'm not able to do is research all these other subjects as well, okay? I need to focus on this. Go on, Annie, you're trying to say something.
Hand thing this episode?
You're going to do the hand thing. Right, so you're going to say Heddwch, yeah? Don't forget that button there.
Okay,
You've gone too early. You've gone too early.
I haven't pressed it
You
yet.
sure you haven't gone early?
I haven't
You
pressed
haven't gone
it
early.
yet.
You sure you haven't gone early?
I haven't pressed it.
Go on then, go
I'm
for
not
it.
dumb.
Not
So
done.
until
What's that got to do with it?
so until next week, Heddwch. Wait, no, too early. Okay. There, I did the second
It's not
time.
as easy as I make it look, mate. It's not
It
as easy as I
is.
make it look.
It's
It's
just
not as easy as I make it look.
It is. I'm
It's
cutting
years
the
of
mic. I'm
practice.
cutting the mic.
I want to see it first. I want to see on this lag thing. It's going to come through on the lag. I want to see a right mess of this you've made. Hang on. It's watching. This is how long the lag is, alright? It still hasn't come on our screen yet.
Watching it.
It hasn't come, yeah. Here he comes. Here comes his hand.
That
Yeah.
time was too early.
Oh.
But then the second time, I'll get it right.
Well, the second time, what do you mean? You can only do it once.
Oh, I forgot. I needed to press.
You've got to press the
other
one
button.
again. Do you want another go?
Yeah, I want another go.
This is supposed to be a professional program, you know what I mean?
So until
This is
next
serious
time.
research. This is come on, this is a grown-up historical
trying
program.
to-
Don't take the mickey here, okay?
So until
People are
next time,
serious.
Heddwch. I think I got it right that time. What?
You know, I think I was much better. I reckon, you know, it's like your violin lesson. Like your violin, you just need more practice. I'm delicate. You can't help me. Right. Here we go. All right.
I think it worked this time.
Now watching the lag back. Here he comes. Nope. Hang on. Get the mic.
That's because you told me to move.
Yeah, well, I want to hear you. That's why. Yeah, because we couldn't hear the nonsense you're talking. Yes. All right.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say perfect, but
Perfection.
it was a bit better, wasn't it? Hang on a sec. I'm just reading the comments because they're coming through really slow tonight. Llewellyn Pren, I've been up there. Craig Moore. Yeah, Craig, man. I'm here for ages. Craig knows about those stuff up there.
Bye.
Can we please, let me go on. Yeah, can we please get all the Stone people together? Like Craig, Darren Taylor, Dixie, Rob Bevans. I haven't heard from Steve Willits for a while. Because that's an area I don't know an awful lot about. I try, and I'm trying to get the star maps and all that, and I really would love to have enough hours in a day to learn all that, but I haven't, right? Although I'm pretty good, but not as good as these guys. These guys are really, really good. They map them out. But the one consolation is, by the way, I'm rambling on here without any picture, but just to let you know, doctor's orders I have to walk more. So that's perfect, isn't it? Going up and down hills looking at stones. So I will be doing more of that. But there we are. Llewellyn Pren then, Jules. He's mapping St. Gennydd, and I got to get you in touch with Darren and Dixie, because they've been doing that for years, and you don't want to, walk over the same ground twice. Well, I mean, you can walk over it, you can come up with different ideas, but if they've already done a job you're about to do, then, why reinvent the wheel? Start from where they've left off. Get the Stone people together. Cool, yeah, it does sound like get the Stoners together. What are the titles and subjects of the forthcoming pamphlets, Ross? Oh, they'd be bigger than pamphlets. I tell you, mate, when Wilson and Blackett... God, if I could just put the camera back on. But when they write some notes down... Alan's remarkable. He's just... And Barham, I'm not quite sure how they do this part of it. They research a subject, and then it's just like a download. Like I say, it is like a Mozart music piece. It's just hand-typed. There are corrections, obviously, and changes and things like that, but hardly any. When it gets to these are like books. So, the subjects I mentioned before, I'll do a list properly next week. Make a note, Ross, make a note. Is the... what do you call it? Lost my pen. Oh my God, there's the pyramids, births of religions, the secrets behind Christianity. Then we got the myth of the Romans, the migrations, probably 2 books on that because they're Marshall. And then looking at, it's going a slightly different direction. We're looking at possibilities of Troy being in Britain and that kind of thing, which does not really come into Wilson and Blackett's work. There's stuff I've been reading. Wow, another mind-blowing stuff. All about the movements around the Middle East, in and out of Egypt. They're being captured by the Babylonians, being freed then by, not Darius, Cyrus the Great. And he restored Jerusalem, rebuilt it. Then when the history of Jerusalem and how the temples got rebuilt, who built them. There's Hasmoneans and Idumeans and how they clashed. And then we go on up into Anatolia, and then we got stuff then. It's like huge. Etruscans. So how many books within that? I would say that's probably 2 or 3. And then, of course, I want to do a book on Etruscan, Colburn, which a lot of ground they've already done in print, but it's part of bigger books, and I want to try and make it, rather than you can see how they've done it, this is how you can do it, like with Cymroglyphics. Then moving through the timelines, we're looking at the myth of the Romans. Also, we got this is where Marcell's stuff comes in more. We got Britain before the Romans. A lot more evidence on that, and this is where the Stone guys come into it, because we're going back further in time, but we're back onto star maps. That's going to be another book. I want to do a book on how to read the Mabinogion. Then you can see how the long list it is. This is why we got to get them out rather than try and make them all perfect. After the Romans, it's like a radio broadcast now, isn't it? Then of course, the early Christianity. That book's coming out. That's done. It needs to go on sale. And then we're getting in finally into the Arthurian stuff, which might be why you came here in the first place. And then I'd like to do more about the British. I got to talk about triads and druids and the other amazing stuff Alan's done. Oh yeah, I mentioned something. Thank you for the Patreons. I forgot, because I've also found some little letters and stuff that Alan's written. I'm not sure they should go on general distribution, but I'll put them up for patrons to have a look at. Get some feedback, see what people think. They are hilarious. I mean, they're like, if you've ever read the book, how to the star maps, definitely needs to be done. Because then you got people like Steve Willett's producing a new book. If you want to produce new books, look, just make it clear, all right? I'm not trying to control this or anything. Hugh Evans, we were doing research together, a group of us, on the star maps and that kind of stuff. He went off on his own direction with his own findings and produced his own book. Brilliant. And I'm, delighted. Promote it, support it, show it on the show, interview, everything. I'm just lighting a fire under people. I'm not here to, fill a bucket or anything. It's lighting the fire, and wherever that fire goes, great. And the more people burning, brilliant. Before anyone burns out, hey, how cool was that? Analogies. Right, I really have to go and, what else is it? Oh, it's just tons of it. There's tons of it, right? Cymroglyphic Book of the Month Club. Oh, John Enigma. Oh, I like that. No pressure there, is it? Get a book out. Might be the book of the bi-month. Oh, just keep talking, Ross. I hate it when it ends. Oh, thank you, Zoe. And you're so lovely. I appreciate that. A lot of things will end if I don't get my boys to bed tonight. But thank you. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. God, another thing. Sorry, I'm rambling away a bit. But another thing, I really think we should try and take this Sunday evening to another level. Maybe not Sunday evening. Keep that, because I think we like it as it is. Everything's changing in the world. Let's have one constantly. But maybe during the week or something, I would like to try. I'm getting the hang of this Zoom thing now. And I've seen my children be in classrooms with loads of people. So how about we try and have a virtual get-together on Zoom sometime? Where, because the other thing I saw when I did Megalithomania was on there, where we had like a panel. And I was part of the panel. I think there's 8 of us or something, fielding questions, and people could join in. And then Hugh did a great job, Hugh Newman. What you could do is you could promote guests to panel members. You can come on and talk about something. People can have chats. And we can do all that kind of funky stuff. So I think that would be good fun, wouldn't it? So if you have something to say, please bring it along. Right. Oh my goodness, there's so many great comments going on here. I can't keep up with them all. Quarterly book of the month. Dim pressure, yeah. Yeah, quarterly book of the month. Book of the quarter. Excellent. Right, okay, I really have to go, folks, but I shall... Yeah, it's not like... It's the opposite, I can assure you. As I say to people, it's not a case of trying to hang on to things. If there's a project you want to do, if any of those subjects sounded particularly up your street, you want to have a crack at it, please do. As I always say to people, you're not taking the food off my plate. You are bailing out the water I'm drowning in. There is so much content. We could do this for 10 years and we wouldn't get through it all. It's amazing what these people have achieved. All right, so I'm going to unplug my microphone now and tuck my boys in. They got school tomorrow morning, and I'll see you later in the week. And I feel 1,000 times better after doing this show than I felt for the last 4 or 5 days. So thank you very much, everybody, for your ongoing support. And it's just such a positive, wonderful environment. It's great. So love to everyone, and Heddwch.